Hari Om is 28 and 29 shlokas. Two shlokas are under consideration. And the 28th one is essentially for differentiation. So the Sanskrit word tu, tattva with tu. Tu means however, but this is to distinguish a person who is tattvavit. Gurudev has given beautifully what a tattvavit means. One who knows is vid. Vid is to have the knowledge of. Tattva, tat is that by Lakshanartha, which means Atma or Brahman. The one who is Brahmavid is Tattvavid. And the one who knows this sign of such a person. If he is different than the common people, ordinary people, different than Manda people, because the word Manda is going to come in the next shloka. Manda means evil-minded. So the one who doesn't have evil mind, one who has purity of mind, one who does not let his mind function as functionary, but uses the mind as a medium to interact in this world, such a one who has completely realized that the master of the mind, keneshitam preshitam patati manaha, kena pranaha prathamaha praiti yuktaha, keneshitam preshitam patati manaha, by whose force the mind works. If one realizes that force, not intellectually, but by anubhuti, by pratyaksha darshanam, to such a person who basks in the glory of knowing the Atman, how he then, after reaching the Kutastha, the tip or the peak of the mountain, or the Atman, how he looked towards everything that he watches around him. Samartha Ramadas Maharaj gave a beautiful description. Dasa dongari rahato jatra devachi pahato. What he means is, the slave of Rama, that is he himself, stays at the peak of the mountain and keeps on enjoying the jatra, the fun fair that is happening down below. Kutastha has two meanings. One is peak of the mountain, another is that one which is deep within the Atman. Such a one who has realized his own nature, one who is labeled as Tattvavit, the one who has understood or known that he understands guna karma vibhaga yoho. He is the one who has a vision to see guna karma vibhaga. Apparently a very innocent word, guna karma vibhaga. It looks like division between guna and karma. These are the slippery points in Bhagavad Gita, and we do need guidance from the realized masters to interpret them. Grammar alone doesn't take you to that place. It helps you to propel forward. but to extract the exact meaning out of guna karma vibhagayoho, we need to take margadarshanam from realized souls of the caliber of Gurudeva, Madhusudan Saraswati, Shankaracharya. Guna karma vibhaga entirely focuses on Sankhya Tattva Jnana. Again, here we remember Gurudeva's words that Bhagavad Gita is nothing else but Sankhya, Sankhya, and Sankhya. It is a structure within the creation which is correctly tapped by Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya Tattva Jnana. That is why it has been given a place of honor in Bhagavad Gita. Prakruti, the potentiality of the Purusha to create the world, the Srujana Shakti, which is otherwise called as Shakti of Shiva, which is otherwise called as Maya in Advaita, Prakruti in Sankhya. This Prakruti, when it decides to exhibit the inherent gunas in it, the gunas are embedded in Prakruti, and when they are not expressed, the potential remains hidden there. It is called Supta Maya or Supta Prakruti, because the gunas are in Samyavastha, in balance with each other. A slight imbalance in Sattva Raja Tama Guna, Guna Samyavastha Bheda, when it happens, it starts bubbling with preparation for activity. It is called Guna Kshobhini Maya in Advaita, or Guna Kshobhini Prakruti, which then gives birth to the Tattvam Mahat. And then by creation of Sattva Rajatama as three appendages, which then divide and recombine. The recombination with the dominance of Tamoguna gives rise to the Pancha Mahabhutas. The recombination with the dominance of Rajoguna gives rise to Karmendriyas. The recombinations with the dominance of Sattvaguna gives rise to Jnanendriyas. The sum total and essence of Sattva Gunas of the Jnanendriyas forms the Buddhi. The sum total of the Rajoguna forms the Mana. So it is the Gunas and the interplay and intercombination of Gunas, Guna, that leads to formation of the variants that are known to us. It is the same gunas that forms me, my body, my mind, my intellect. It is the same recombination of gunas which forms the Pancha Mahabhuta. So when I work in this world which is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta, it is nothing else but gunas in me interacting with gunas in the objects. So what happens? The Pancha Mahabhuta, the Pancha Jnanendriya, the Pancha Karmendriya, the Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankar in case of Advaita, but only 3 in case of Sankhya. They form along with 5 subjects Vishaya, and the Vishayas mainly are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Gandha, and Rasa. These 5 make 23 elements of Sankhyas, or 24 if we consider Ahankara of Advaita. So all in all, this entire thing is, if you consider also Purusha as one, a 25 elements or 24 elements, depending upon which darshana we follow. They keep interacting with each other. That is why Kabir Maharaj says, 5-25 pakad mangauji, मूल कमल दन आसन बांधुजी, शून्य निशान फहराऊंगा, निर्भय निर्गुण गुण रे गाऊंगा, निर्भय निर्गुण गुण रे गाऊंगा. Through gunas, by knowing them correctly as 24, how they are divided, how their interplay with each other is nothing else but the karma. And once I am aware that gunas are interplaying with each other, meaning thereby the one who acts as an experiencer is also made up of guna. One who experiences an object, that object is made up of guna. And the process of experiencing is also made up of guna. Right now, with all reverence to Gurudeva and Shraddha, when we are studying Bhagavad Gita, Sattva Guna in me as a person, through my mind, it is the Sattva Guna which is trying to show its glimpse. And what is the Sattva Guna of my buddhi doing right now? Trying to read an object called Bhagavad Gita, which is nothing else but Sattva Guna. So Sattva Guna, working through pure Sattva Guna buddhi, acting on Sattva-guni object called Bhagavad Gita, creating an experience of knowledge which is also Sattva-guna, gunya guneshu vartante. The predilection of my guna will decide which object I shall consider as object of desire. If I am a tamo-guni person, then on a Friday morning, I shall not be so-called wasting my time in Bhagavad Gita, but rather having a beautiful sleep till 10 o'clock in the morning. Tamo guna, interacting with tamo guna to create tamo guni anubhava. Now the question is, guna karma vibhaga yoho, out of this vibhaga word is something which is very critical in this shloka. Vibhaga means Visheshan, that means divided, specifically divided, spatially divided. That is what we know. Madhusudan Saraswati Maharaj says, no, sir, this is not the meaning of Vibhaga yaha. This is not the meaning that should be taken here. If only that division was to be taken into consideration, then guna karma no would have been the sufficient word, not guna karma vibhaga yoho, guna karma no. Tattvittu mahabhavo guna karma no. No, guna karma vibhaga yoho means vibhaga has a special meaning, and he says vibhaga here means vishesha bhaga, which is atman. So guna karma as one, vibhaga means atman as another, and that is why guna karma and vibhaga have been brought together in a word through a samasa called dvandva samasa. Even the subtype of that samasa is also given by Madhusudan Saraswati. It is samahara dvandva samasa. Why vibhaga is self or atman? Because on one side there is atman, where there are no gunas. Naturally, there is no karma. There is no guna gunishu antarte in atman. While other than atman, whatever is non-self, which is this world and ourselves, those who consider ourselves a jiva, upadhi, for them, this division is not possible. The only one who has the division possible is the one who has realized the Atman, because by seeing two, then you can say, oh, this is one and this is another. We have not seen two, we have seen only one. We have seen non-self. That is why if we know only the anatma ashuchi object, then we cannot know that this is ashuchi, because we have not seen what is atman or shuchi. While in case of tattvavit, because he has seen the other side, the one who has seen the city can say a city and a village can be compared by him. But one who has not left the village cannot compare city with the village because he has not seen the city. That is the reason why the one who knows both and is able to distinguish or discriminate between guna karma vibhaga, the interplay of gunas creating karmas in this world, is the one who is able to see Atman separate and guna karma separate. That is why vibhaga here is referring to self or Atman according to Madhusudan Saraswati Maharaj. The difference here is the game that is being played is seen by the father as well as the child. The child has not seen anything other than the game, so he's grossly involved into the game, intensely involved into the game, and feels very bad if something is lost and feels very happy something is gained. The father who has grown up in stature and has seen the other part of the world where he's supposed to be the chief of the home and look after the job and everything, he's able to distinguish between what he is doing and what the child is doing, and then he's able to see what child is doing and yet know that this is a child's game, it has no relevance in my world. बजीचाए अतफाल है दुनिया मेरे आगे, होता है शबे रोज तमाशा मेरे आगे. A Sufi says, this is a child's game, the world. It keeps happening every evening in front of me. What they are trying to say is, a tattvavit sees the whole thing as leela, sport. Unfortunately, English is an inadequate language, so the leela is translated as sport. But leela is from li dhatu. Li dhatu means dravibhuta karanam. Lord has created the sport and allowed the constituent of the sport to play the way they want to play. When Lord himself plays, then it is Rasa Leela. Very recently we had Holi. The colors of the festival indicate the plurality of creation which is created by the Lord for the sake of his own enjoyment, and to be a constituent of Lord's sport is the highest fun available, which is called as Shrestha Prema Rasa. So Prema Rasa. And what is to be done in this game? The playing itself is the ultimate essence, not the score. Gurudeva has given a beautiful statement. The very enjoyment of sport is important, not the score. Tukaram Maharaj, the Bhakta par excellence, he once teased in one of his Abhanga to Vithala. And he said, Vithala, how poor you are. You created the sport and the game, but you can't play it. I can play it because I know I have to play it for you. What will you do? You cannot be Bhakta. You are the aim of the Bhakta. So you cannot become a Bhakta. How poor you are. I pity upon you. See, that is the Bhakta Shrestthata. In one of the Abhangas, Tukaram Maharaj says, what great have you done by coming and visiting me? You jolly well you should come because I am your Bhakta. Purandar Dasa, Kanakadasa, all these people had this authority or right because they were Tattvavit. That is why Bhakti is considered superior to knowledge. That's why Jnanottar Bhakti is an essential outcome of a Jnani. Jnani, where does he reach? Normally he reaches the last end. After reaching the peak, then he enters into the domain called Bhakti. Because it is going out of a false world of ours. First you extract yourself from this world and you re-enter into this world knowing how the sport is to be played. So those who have come back And who can understand the stature of such people of Lord Krishna's caliber or Gurudeva's caliber? Only those who are sufficiently strong to understand. Mahabhaho. Mahabhaho, the one who is mighty armed like a Sabyasachi in the war, but Sabyasachi in the mental war, the intellectual struggle, the one who wins that war, Arjuna, he is the one who understands the Tattvavit, who enjoys the sport as a Leela. And Leela is not karma. A divine karma is called Leela. So Leela, Krida, all the saintly people, what they do is called Krida. Bhagavan, what he does is called Leela. What we do is called karma. So the wrong that we commit is in performing the karma. And that being the reason, what happens to those who do not realize this? Tatovattu has been described now. Atatvavit, the one who is not intelligent, one who has not realized the self, one who is like us. Bhagavan says, Prakruter guna sammudhaha. He has not understood Prakruti and the gunas properly. He is actually, instead of understanding, got deluded by it. The sword was given to him, the gunas were given to him for working in this world that was created by the Lord. Instead, he started taking the sword and cutting his own neck or his own skin. Prakrute guna sammudaha sajjante, attached. We do play with our children. In the same manner the child is playing, we play, but we are not attached to it. Yet we enjoy with the child, and it is really enjoyable. That is the reason why we play with him. We enjoy playing. We enjoy even his crying. We enjoy his laughing, knowing fully well that it is a child's play. But if you get attached, then Prakrute guna sammudaha, the one who does not understand the distinguish between guna karma and the Atman, the one who cannot do that, gets attached to guna karma su, in the karmas and the gunas. He gets attached. Tan akrutsnan vido. Akrutsna vido mandan krutsavin krutsavit na vichalayet. Krutsnavit, akrutsnavit. Two words have come here. Both are very important. Krutsna and akrutsna has been taken to a completely different level by Madhusudan Saraswati Maharaj. He says, Krutsna is referring to the Atman. And Krutsnavit is knower of the self, Atmadjnani. Akrutsnavit, knower of the non-self. Knower of the self we can understand. But knower of the non-self, yes, that entity is also there. We are knower of non-self. Anatmadjnani. It sounds like an oxymoron. But it is an important word. Akrutsnavit, krutsnavit. Knower of non-self and knower of self. So the one who is not knower of the itself, if he comes across knower of the self, how will the interaction be? If a knower of self comes in our life and starts telling us that, sir, please leave your home, leave your wife. Siddhartha Gautam Buddha did it. There are so many who left their house. Rest everything, God will look after. You just get out and do what? And just go. Realize the self. Such advice never comes for two reasons. One, knowing the self or Atman is a gradual process which has to go through Chitta Shuddhi, Vikshepa Abhyas, Dhyanam and Upasana, and then samadhi avastha and realization of self. Now, if the person is not even in the first standard, if you tell him that, look, ultimately education is meant for, living in this world, what is so great in getting educated? Nothing happens. Even if I got my PhD, what am I doing great? All that you require is how good you are. In fact, at this age, we do get a feeling about whatever education we did not help us much. But can we go and tell our own child that leave the school? There's nothing big there. No. The reason is, even to know that a particular thing is useless, you have to learn the thing. You have to live the life. Howsoever you may try to tell a child who is 20, 21 years old that, look, there's no point in watching the movies and, chasing the girls and doing this or drinking, etc. Everyone does it. The same person, when he reaches at 40, 45 age, says that, the worst thing that you can do is drinks. Never try to trouble anybody. How can you tease girls? How can you watch the stupid movies? What changed? The change is a transformation that happened over a period of time. Now, one who is vanaprastha-ashrami or sannyasa-ashrami, he can be advised a certain set of advice. But the same set of advice cannot be applicable to a brahmachari or to a Pagandavastha or Yuvavastha. That is why, otherwise, it will create Brahma in the mind. That is called Vichalya. Chanchalya he already has. Vichalyata, if you give it to him, then it will be like a Chinese, a bull in a Chinese shop, as they call it in English. That is why, Krutsnavit na vichalayet, whom akrutsnavit. In other words, how much hungry you are, that much food is to be given. 1. 2, what type of food you are eating, the same type of food is to be given, Swabhava Sadharma, so that the body which is acclimatized for a particular type of food, the intellect which is acclimatized, the mind which is acclimatized, the antakaran which is acclimatized to a certain set of things, shall be able to gradually take off from there. This is called Pippalika Marga. The Marga is like an ant's journey. It is not a Vihanga Marga. It is not like a bird flying right away. So takeoff is not meant for everybody. For everyone, it is a slow and gradual unfoldment, as they call it. Insisting was Gurudev on Swami Shivananda that I want to take sannyas, I want to take sannyas, I want to take sannyas. And every time Shivananda Maharaj said, okay, we'll wait, we'll see, we will wait, we'll see, we will see. When Gurudeva entered Shivananda ashram, that time Shivananda Maharaj was telling him, why don't you think of joining? Why don't you think of joining? And that time Gurudeva was saying, I'm thinking. At one point of time, he was insisting, the other one was not insisting. Then he has to decide to send him to another place, not his own place. Why? Because everything has to have its ripe moment. तुका म्हणे तेते नाही चालत तातडी प्राप्त काळ घडी आल्या विन. Tukaram Maharaj says, unless प्राप्त काल घडी has come, nothing will happen. That is why, out of enthusiasm, even out of compassion, even out of welfareish attitude, a Krutsnavit should not, and generally they do not, because that much knowledge has already dawned upon them. This is more for those who are relatively superior compared to the mandan, the evil-minded. So one good act I do and I immediately start preaching about all good acts. That is not the way to go about it, sir. That means during the sadhana, it is better to see how many blots are still there on the body, rather than just clearing one blot and telling the world that, look, I have become very, very adhyatmic person. So that is why 28th and 29th, both of us tell us about, one, the state of Tattvavit, another, the state of Akrutsnavit, and advice to the Krutsnavit, regarding he advising a Krutznavit person. Hari Om.